I was too clear. Well, has anyone wondered why? Oh, sorry, Matthew.
If you decide, give her answer, who is to decide what, who is to decide what is proper?
Who is to decide what is proper?
Because you, in the beginning, you discussed what is it proper for the government to require this? Is it proper for the government to require that?
And so you're asking the standard by which I think the word proper comes from?
Yeah, basically.
So like, is it proper for somebody to provide for disabilities?
Or he's asking...
Is that what you're kind of getting at, Matthew?
No, not like...
He's asking
what's the criteria?
Yeah, what's the criterion of
Okay.
proper? And what I used throughout my presentation today was the principles that our country was founded on. And so, in America, I'm saying that it's not proper for the government to provide health care because it's not in our founding principles. We are, as humans living in America, given the right to our own life, liberty, and the pursuit of our own happiness. And this is what is said in the Declaration of Independence by our founding fathers. And so that's what I'm working with throughout my entire thesis, and not saying I think this is proper, but this is the standard by which our founding fathers created this country. And that is why I think it's proper. Alicia.
You seem extremely passionate about this subject. How did you get into it?
Ever since I was a little girl, my parents have always taken me to lectures over the summer. And I used to go to the daycare centers there and stuff, but as I grew older and was intrigued by the discussions that my father would have with his friends and with my mother, I realized that I liked talking about philosophical ideas. And so last summer I realized that I really wanted to work with individual rights. And throughout this whole year it's taken me a long time to get back to exactly what I wanted to say. But I feel like today was a good summation of my thoughts and ideas. John?
Quick clarification question. If I understood you correctly, for a two-sentence summarization of that entire presentation is the only thing that is a natural or real right is something that enables people to act independently rather than being handed.
Act in what?
Act independently.
Act independently.
Yeah.
Without infringing upon others.
Without infringing upon
Yeah.
others.
The question, I believe, is a summary of my presentation today in about 2 sentences would be that our only rights are our rights to act. Am I correct?
Pretty close.
I would say that's pretty close. Any right, and only rights, are freedoms to actions, and not to be given things. We are not given our own life, our own liberty, or our pursuit of our own happiness.
And so everything other than that falls under a pseudo-right?
Yes. Like, I would say healthcare. Or equal pay for men and women.
What if those are the basis that let you then act? Like, what if you need these things in order to be given the opportunity, or to take the opportunity, I guess? Because a disabled person may not have, I don't know where I stand on this topic, but I mean, a disabled person may not have the ability to do certain things, so they need certain provisions laid down, so they can indeed act on their rights. I mean, is that so wrong?
So your question is, why can't people have equal opportunity? Like if they're disabled in some manner?
Are those rights really pseudo-rights if say, disabled people need them in order to run and act upon their real rights?
You bring up disabled people, so I'll use the example of wheelchair rooms at private property. I personally, if I were creating a business, I would make it so that it would be able to be accessed by all of my customers. So that would be anyone that's disabled. And I'm saying that it's not proper for the government to require that of businesses. But I'm not saying that it's wrong for people to not do that or to do that. I'm just saying it's not the government's job to be doing that for people.
Isn't the government's job or their role is as a protector? In order to protect disabled people's rights, they do need provisions, don't they?
What would you say disabled people's rights are?
The same as ours. Like,
So, yeah. So,
well, no, because I'm not saying parking, but I'm saying like
the thing
wheelchair
is,
ramps.
if I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the thing is, as long as the rights that the government enforces do not infringe upon other people's ability to act or remove their life, liberty, or property, I substitute property for pursuit of happiness, it's old habit. And as long as it doesn't infringe on any of those, then it's perfectly legitimate, except that things like disability ramps, requiring disability ramps, is an infringement of their property, or their...
I guess I haven't answered that question very well.
Alright,
I understood that.
I think I understand what you're trying to ask. Correct me if I'm wrong. That because people are born with disabilities, that is their life now, that they have to live with that. And so you're saying the government is placed to protect people's rights, and if people are disabled, then to get around they would have to use a wheelchair ramp and hang on to a rail. I don't think that it's proper for the government to require that, as I've said throughout my whole presentation. Because by requiring things at the expense of business owners, yes, you would be infringing upon someone's rights. And rights are freedoms to act, and not, okay, I have a freedom to go up this wheelchair ramp that's provided by this business. So, I think that people are not protected by the government by use of wheelchair ramps and handicap rails. That's not a function of the government. It's only to protect our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And being disabled is not... Hold on one second. Having a disability shouldn't alter the role of government. And I think that within people wanting to require businesses to provide things for people would alter the role of government. Does that answer your question?
I have a question. Do you think that requiring businesses to have equal rights and not discriminate is infringing upon the business owner's right to decide who enters their establishment and who they hire?
So the question is, do I think that the government's infringing upon people's rights if they're saying that businesses shouldn't discriminate? In this case, I would say that the government should not be able to tell business owners who they should and should not let into their establishment. If I were creating an establishment, I would let anyone enter if they were not threatening me.
That would be your personal decision and not because the government told you.
Yes.
You have to hire women, you have to let black people in your cafe, stuff like that.
Yes. So I don't think that it's the government's role to be telling business owners that they should be doing all of these things because they're infringing upon the business owner's right to decide for himself whether he would like to allow these people into his business, whether he would like to pay this person the same as this person. And I think we're out of time for questions. Again, thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it.